do you know, at some point I'm going to buy one of those clicker devices because it'll be a lot easier. And I know that they're dirt cheap, but I think I'd better start trying to do this a little bit more professionally. So at the moment, I was thinking about social distancing and a video that I made way back when about social distancing, and a panel discussion I had with Sight and Sound and listened in on to do with how we're going to deal with social distancing, because this coronavirus seems to have a long-term implication to our lives. So we were all talking about ways around this, you know, being positive and finding constructive feedback. So part of my feedback was to have a look at the Be My Eyes service, because I use the Be My Eyes service a lot, and I am meant to be shielding, but I decided to go out in order to get some shopping done. I needed medication basically, and my dad wasn't available, so I needed to go out with Nina and go and get some medication. And as everybody is sharing, sometimes, you know, when you've got a guide dog, social distancing can become harder because everybody wants to touch the dog, or more accurately, our dogs want to go and say hello to other people's dogs and other people that they've known and previously been able to talk to. Because it's not like you can sit down with the dog and say, look, I'm really sorry guys, we're trying to get away from coronavirus, so no talking today. You just have to do something that upsets them for a couple of minutes and just say, look, I'm really sorry, but we can't talk to this person right now, so, you know, tough, carry on walking. So I decided to carry on, you know, walking with my guide dog, and I get to the shop, and you know me, they had really good social distancing measuring. They had a bit of tape to stop you from going right up to the counter. So obviously I was wearing my mask, and I got to the counter, and I was going to ask for some help, ask for my prescription and everything, and it went really well until it came to payment. I thought, oh yeah. So, like everybody, or at least most people now, I don't necessarily have that many times to use coins. I tend to whip my phone out and open my wallet or my Apple Pay and hold it out, put my thumb on the buzzer, on the Siri, in order to get it paid, and that was going well. But then I forgot to buy conditioner, so I went into the next shop, and I've struggled with getting my hand underneath the visor and everything else. So eventually the lady had to touch my phone to guide me towards the machine. And I thought, well, I can open my phone and get some money out via cash point easily enough with the Be My Eyes service. And yes, I know that people say that's dangerous, but I do that. So I just have it fixed on the screen. I hide my hand whilst I'm typing in my password code, and that really helps, because then I'm not having to memorise something else, and if there's any changes that I haven't seen, like, oh sorry, cash machine out of order, I don't just stick my card in and find that my card's been eaten and then I'm stuffed, So I struggled with that, and that meant that although I'm not like accusing anybody of being dirty or anything, because it's not about being dirty. Anybody could carry corona and not know about it. So the lady had to guide my phone, which meant that I had her hands on my phone, possible transference of whatever she may have had onto my phone, in order to pay. And I thought, well, instead of whipping out my phone all the time, it'll be so much easier to just have it on a set of glasses like I did previously. Because if you're standing in a queue and you're standing there with a phone, And people tend to turn around and go, what about my personal privacy? You shouldn't, be recording me. Why are you recording me? Because, people assume that you're recording them if you've got your phone out, and you're going to look like a total, with your phone out, kind of holding on to, it's nice to have both hands free if anything happens, or if you fall, or if you drop something, or if your guide dog decides to spin you around, and it's just easier having a hands-free device. Check out people who like the Orcam. But anyway, so I was thinking about the Be My Eyes service having a set of glasses like the Aira system. So the Aira is actually spelled as Aire, so it's A-I-R-E. And then what happens is that it's like an app on your phone that you can, it's a camera attached, it's a pair of camera glasses, and you wear them, and you can call an Aira agent, and then this Aira agent can then help you with whatever problem you may be having to do with accessibility. I'll try and put a link in the description below so that you can have a look at the Aira system. And I thought, well, that would be absolutely great. So I've got two choices. I either get the Aira system in England, which is expensive, or campaign for Aira to be in England, or alternatively, because most visually impaired people are only needing kind of everyday type help, and the Aira system is considered to be quite expensive, then one way was to get the Be My Eyes service to have glasses. So I gave them a message, and I am so happy that Be My Eyes agent or lady has contacted me back saying that they've put that on their board of ideas to discuss, because it's a really good idea, and discuss how they're going to do it. So I like that. I'm sure I'm not the only person to have thought about that, but I think the difference between here and in other countries is that we in England seem to believe that we should get any kind of disability support, any support with health, because it's not necessarily to do with what we've done. It's just, something that's happened to happen. We should get things for free. Now, I'm not going to comment on the rights or wrongs of that, but that's just a factual thing, which is part of why I think that Aira or Aire isn't actually in England. It's in Canada, America, and other places. And they do have plans to move from there to other areas, but for now, it is only in America, Canada, and Australia. It's just started in. So it would be really, really nice, thinking about it, if we could find a way of doing that. So my plans for moving forwards on this is to try and use LinkedIn to get in touch with the Be My Eyes top dogs, and then I'm hoping to find a way possibly of fundraising it, because the issue with having everything for free, like the Google Glasses service attached to the Aira or Aire, is the cost of its distribution, the cost of breakages, the cost of, if the glasses are wrong, being able to replace the glasses, and all of that kind of important individualistic issues are all kind of counterbalanced by the price, the monthly cost that you pay for the Aira service. So, or Aire service. I'm not sure what to call it, Aire or Aire. So I'm just going to go with Aira, because people in England seem to say it as Aira service. So the costs of distribution, costs of manufacture, costs of making them easily replaceable, costs of, if you're visually impaired, you're not necessarily wanting to replace your glasses. you're just wanting a really good camera that you'd get on like your iPhone 10 or 11. My iPhone camera for the 7 doesn't seem to be as clear as I need it for some of the things that I've asked the Be My Eyes service volunteers for recently. So recently I've asked them to help me find out what marks I've got, like, you know, with the computer. And yeah, an IRA trained volunteer has the capability of helping you in the professional sphere. The Be My Eyes is not necessarily used for that issue, but you know, that's on a completely different video. So that's my plans, to first get in touch with the Be My Eyes team, the individual members of the top dogs of the Be My Eyes, and then possibly to get in touch with the Orcam developers, because the Orcam is an extremely popular but very, very expensive device for people, and I think that's all because of the inbuilt, or not, I don't even think it's inbuilt, to be fair. I think that's just for website coverage with the Orcam device, in rights of copyright theft. I think it's a very expensive tool, and the costs, you know, that's a completely different video again. And the reason why I would say the Orcam is because they now have this tiny, well, it is tiny, but it's like basically it's a camera that is magnetized that you can put onto the sides of any glasses. So if you're partially sighted and you want to enjoy the sight you've got, but you're also wanting help from like a Be My Eyes type service, the idea is that you can use the same camera that is used for the Orcam to then get in touch with a Be My Eyes volunteer. But because I don't know much about technology, this is quite a difficult feat of ingenuity for me, because I'm going to have to work with a lot of people, and you know, you've got to remember that people tend to take care of their own interests, and is it really in the interests of the developers of Orcam, who are all the way in Israel, to develop that kind of device with the Be My Eyes service? And will the individuals involved actually work with one another? So like, in theory, we could have VoiceOver with Microsoft and have it work, but the manufacturers of Microsoft, Bill Gates does not necessarily get on with the makers of Apple. So, you know, that's partially why the blind got a bit screwed over. So yes, that's my plans for hopefully the next couple of years, because I think it'll be good to get that sorted out, and not just for reasons of corona. You know, I use the Be My Eyes service and for simple things like doing my washing, helping me with cooking on my touchscreen hob, even though I don't really need that, because once you've got the memory, you can kind of memorise how far you think it has to go between the two blobs that I put on my hob in order to actually switch it on and off, and you know, have the right settings and things like that. So, you know, it might help with cooking. But I think really what things like that are for is for using it in unfamiliar environments, you know. So that, let's say you want to get a cup of tea from a vending machine, you now can, with some help. Even though I know that most vending machine manufacturers don't bother to put any speech software on, or any kind of way of making it accessible. They just insist on having touch screens and no other way of doing it. So that's, there's lots of things that I want to help in their development, but this particular thing, this particular idea for the Be My Eyes service to have a set of glasses is something that I'm going to have to work out legally as well, because there might be some legal restrictions protecting the occupational development of those who are working for Aira. I'm not saying that people don't deserve money for what they do. I'm just saying if I can get it for free and it's not going to cost me anything, then I don't see why I can't have that service. So there will be differences between Aira and the other, but again, it's a different video. So yes, wish me luck.